do we want to do a resolution or do we want to do a cataclysm and see how that affects our resolutions?
I think we got resolution first, and then resolution again.
God. I was trying to avoid this. All right. Yeah. No love for you. No love.
All right. So resolutions.
Yeah, it's about to get ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the Avatar death first because.
Yeah, let's do the Avatar death first. Ingrid, the Purifier, and Kurgan.
I don't think Kurgan attacks Ingrid. He said he joined the war, right? I feel like he would attack Valhalla because Valhalla is closer to them, and Valhalla assisted her, assisted the Ractonian.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how he actually gets killed by her. Like maybe she goes back there because he takes over the city, or she knows he's there.
Or do you think maybe?
I think. Sorry, go ahead. Throw your idea out.
I was just saying, like maybe by hindering him, that's how he ends up dying of Valhalla.
And she's responsible. She's supposed to be the one. Well, yeah, it doesn't say she kills himself. It says you can have Avatar killed.
Yeah.
What I was thinking, I love the idea that he's attacking Valhalla, right? But Ingrid and her people just built a special like artifact thing that channels the power from the moon.
Yeah.
So when she
I think I know what you're thinking. Yeah.
When she hears about Kurgan attacking Valhalla, she channels all of that power through herself, and then through the eye channels that lunar energy to weaken Kurgan enough so Valhalla can just take him out.
What if?
See, I had a similar thought. Remember before we said that they were around the areas of Twilight from those moon islands because it gave them power?
Yeah.
What if she figures out a way to suck all that power away from those islands? So now they're exposed to sunlight.
I like that.
What if what it was is it makes the twilight go away? That's
yeah. She absorbs it, channels it away.
She like subdues the twilight, weakening the entire Dhampir race.
She engulfs the earth in a purifying light. Is the way she looks at it. So all those spots that have that twilight become light. So it doesn't just fuck up Kurgan. We made a whole subrace of vampires that have to exist in shadow.
The Lasombra.
So they're fucked because they're in those areas too.
Well, I think right. So they have to live in an area where they die. So the things that have to live in this deep are probably gonna have a rough time. But I'm thinking like it just means that everybody else can be seen. They can't shadow jump. They can't. It takes away all those other extra special things they have.
Yeah, I was thinking more like it just takes away all their invulnerabilities. So if we say our Dhampirs are like vampires, like they're immune to damage and shit like that, he's just not immune anymore.
Yeah.
Hence he gets fucking killed.
Yeah.
I do think the shadow vampires would be fucked. If I'm saying that they're covered in sunlight and they have to be in shadow, they're fucked. They'd be
when
dead.
they declared war, one of the things I was thinking about doing this round, if I could, was I was
spit it out.
Develop a tech that had them be able to make their Twilight portable or like replicate Twilight, like a magic device, but it wasn't. It was some kind of something that would belay the new power problem with the moon.
Yeah.
That's what I was want to see is them trying to develop a technology where they could like.
I don't think they did it fast enough. I think she used that wonder on that moon isle to rip Twilight out for at least a while.
And are we saying that her shifting all of the Twilight to essentially points of radiance literally burns out the Lasombra?
Yes. Yeah, it kills them outright.
Not, but like they still exist. Like remember how we said, John, that like a race isn't completely obliterated. There's no genocides so far, so they're not obliterated. There's still some of them that live, some of them that have the technology John's talking about, maybe, or that got away. So they're still
or escape to the Underdark.
Escape to the Underdark. Their version of the Underdark. Their part.
So she fully pulls Twilight. So even on the island, the main
everywhere,
island, it's just, it's not like a 70% pull or something. It's like 100.
And like I always like to do, dude. I think that her doing this should have a consequence on her. And my pitch for that is Kurgan's last stand. The last thing he does is he releases the Malkavian order on her completely. So they focus all that insanity, that psychic insanity, into her when she does this. So before they go out.
She's going from Ingrid the Purifier to Ingrid the Mad.
I'm mad. Yeah, she becomes full on Malkov. Like she becomes completely insane.
Does this psychic activity on the realm affect any other psychic races?
Well, I think
Oh,
I think for sure Prox is going to realize what happened because it's going to be like a giant shift. Because I think this is going to destroy that Malkavian order too. Like because that was Kurgan's first order. That's the first thing he did. I think they die
Yeah.
along with him. I think they all die doing this to her.
it's like a psychic death throw, basically.
Yeah, it would and even the Nullrogs would feel it, even though they're immune to the psychic energy. I think even they would be like shaken by like what happened. They'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the insects feel it.
They all feel it. Anything with a psychic connection, I think, feels it for sure, like you're saying. And now that web they had, like their little spine web, the Malkov spine web they have, it's gone now, so they don't have it
Yeah.
anymore.
And any civilians that were caught up in it immediately have a fractured brain.
Yeah, derangement. Like it may
All over the world,
people over the world can have derangements.
start
Like it,
going
yeah.
crazy.
Not full on, like
And
not full on
not
crazy.
crazy. I mean, like
Like-
psychosis is now something in your family.
Like the happening. but they don't all kill themselves, but like stupid shit happens.
Now, how do y'all feel about everything that happened to Ingrid? Everything that she just did to make that all happen? Do y'all think, even though she's not the person that she originally was, would that be a step in what did we call it?
Ascension.
Ascension, yeah.
I think it's a step towards batshit crazy. I think she
Oh,
just
no, she's definitely batshit crazy. I'm not saying that she isn't, but
like she might not even pray to a divine god for her to like she might pray to herself. Like she is the righteous theory, and her insanity alone is what now powers her own force.
I
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
that-
See, I don't know. To me, I would see her more as like a seer. Like when she gets so fractured, now she becomes like this omniscient person,
Yeah, like a visionary. Like a
like
visionary.
a visionary who knows about the prison plane, but she
Oh.
can't. Like
So
she
then-
can't even vocalize it
How
anymore.
about how about she gets we'll just call that ascension like Rovexus and Ezra's then, and she's out
Okay.
now.
like
Okay.
a full
She's-
set of ascension.
Yeah, she's part of the world now, like these other characters.
How about this? She lives on in the Ractonian culture as some prophecy that like that's obviously fractured. No one understand what the fuck it means anymore.
Dude, how about we full on
No,
what if we
I-
full on Oracle of Delphi her? What if she becomes like their Oracle of Delphi? Like
Yeah.
she like
Yeah,
she-
Now,
for the rest of her life until she dies, she's
Yeah.
a seer and
and her
prophecies for their whole civilization.
I do have I love this idea, but the island that she was pulling the energy from, right? That moon island is entirely made of crystal. All the plant life and everything there is crystal. It's one of the things we set way back in the beginning. What is if at the heart of that wonder that they built inside of the Ractonian capital, she had to be there to channel that energy. So now it's literally like the Temple of Ingrid, and she is a living crystal, like a living crystal, still like the Delphi thing that you guys were talking about. But she is now not a Ractonian anymore. She's been
She
turned
becomes
into
living crystal.
she's living crystal.
Like solidified in place but sentient.
Yeah,
I dig. It gives you a place to have a prophecy
That's-
marker later, like the Oracle does, right?
Yep.
Except it makes it now it's a whole journey. You can't just go to it.
instead of
You have to go
instead of
off.
her being crystal, why don't we make her the tower itself? Like she is that tower now. Like
okay.
whole, you know what I mean? Like a sentient building almost, like a I don't
Living
know.
crystal tower.
Yeah, it goes on to like the mirror idea we had before from the other world, but like she's the whole thing. So kind of like the Wailing Well, she
Yeah.
would have layer actions. She would control the whole tower.
I like it.
You know what I mean,
I like it a lot.
dude? And that's how they continue the tradition. So she does. Okay, when you go speak to the Oracle of Delphi in this world, you don't speak to her. You speak to her priestesses. So what they do is they either sacrifice people there, or people are born there and then grow up their whole lives there to become these oracles. So what they really are is just people who have been in the tower so long that she has control of them, like mental control, or pushes them in a certain way. You see what I'm saying? But like they have a
So
whole thing of society now. Where it's like an honor.
Pipes.
Yeah, it's like an honor to be this thing now, to
Yeah.
work in the tower.
To be the vessel.
Maybe it's only virgin
And,
girls.
and you know what? I bet it'd only be Aractonian females. They'd only want.
Yeah.
It's like an honor to be a vessel to the goddess. You know how they view her.
And like
Would
maybe
you say that the Order of the Purifier?
I think it survives for sure. Zealots
Oh yeah, the idea doesn't die.
get a replacement avatar in the next round.
So what does that do? What does that do as far as the Meerkat folk fight goes?
Well,
I think
Well,
when she
it would kill off all of their undead that were light sensitive.
Mhm.
yeah, and then they're being attacked by the Kaya-Dun too at this time
Yeah.
too. I don't know. They might
give a fuck.
They might lose. I think they might lose, dude. The Meerkats. I don't know if they would be destroyed.
How about we leave that up to a dice roll?
We could do that.
60-40, 65-35.
I'm thinking 35% chance that the Meerkat managed to hold out.
So 1 to 35, they live.
Yeah.
36 and higher, they're.
Wait, well,
Yeah.
no, 1 to 35, they win, right? Like they
Hey, you want them to? Yeah, dude. How about that? How about we give? Yeah, 35% chance they hold out, so they're not completely destroyed like Germany basically was in World War II. But if they get like a 10% chance, they win anyway.
If they get from 1 to 35.
So 1 to
means-
10, they win.
No,
Once
no,
they win,
11 to
1
35.
to 35, they survive, and
Survive.
then if they get a 90 and up, the Meerkat somehow, in the face of everything going on, not only win, but they sweep.
So 35 to
Yeah.
90 is
36
Meerkats-
to 90 is their
dead.
36 to 89 done.
36.
All right.
but if they get that 10 or lower, dude, they won one.
Woo, 13.
They're alive.
Ooh, it was close, dude. They almost won. That means they got like within the castle gates of Ractonia before they were beaten back.
Yeah. So
So
That's
the
pretty cool.
Meerkats just barely survive.
Yeah, they managed to beat off the Kaya-Dun and the Ractonians all the way back to their capital, and then somehow, I guess that's when she sacrificed herself in the capital, and that's what
yeah.
turned the
And
tide
they-
of the war and drove them back.
Yeah.
So not only they survive, they still have their lands and everything. They're just not past that marker. And I think there should be a wall there or something now that
Yeah.
definitely separates
They
this.
rebuild the ruins.
Yeah, so that it never happens again.
I have a question. Now, the Ractonians, the Eye of the light, all this, their avatar. Now, the Ractonian people as a culture, are they also like, fuck the undead? Or like some of them like, why did we even start shit with these people? Like they weren't doing shit and I didn't have a problem.
I don't think they're like that at all. I think they're like the Romans, dude. I think they're just there living their lives, doing their thing.
Well, I
Do
mean,
you
like,
think they come to like an impasse where they're like, hey, we're going to build a wall?
Yeah, I think after this conflict they'd build a wall for sure. But I don't think their whole society is like undead hating.
no, that's why I was asking. Okay, so this is what I was thinking. So technically the Ractonians started the war. Obviously they
Yeah.
didn't like what they bit off. So they want to build their wall. They wanted to build their wall right after they fucking started the war. What if the Meerkat folk are on the other side of the wall also building their wall? Saying like they're both
Makes
like, don't want to fuck with each other at all. You stay out of our shit, we'll stay out of your shit. And then they like co-op, build
Hey.
a wall with a valley in between. Almost like
Hey,
a DMZ.
Like the
Dude,
North Korea,
yeah,
South
I was
Korea
gonna say,
area?
their DMZ is like a no necromancy and no healing area. So everything in the DMZ has to be allowed to die a natural death no matter what. Like it cannot be fucked with either way. You can't heal shit there.
Nice.
You can't bring shit back to life there. Period.
And that's the accord. The
That's the
nation,
accord. Yeah.
they weren't all like zealous. Only like
Well, that's the Kaya-Dun. That's the Kaya-Dun part of the peace treaty too. Is that the Kaya-Dun wanted this area where life would be respected in pure
that
form, where
perfect.
Yep.
That
Yep.
slot's perfect.
where
yeah.
there's no people die a natural death. You don't heal them with
So,
magic.
right where
It's-
the
so
desert
it's a
and-
several mile area stretch. It's a big stretch of area.
Actually, it's less of a demilitarized zone. It's more of like this weird holy place, if you think about it, because it applies and respects all three of these separate ways of thinking about it.
Oh my God, there's going to be a temple there.
It
That might
is. It
happen
would
next
be.
year.
It's like a universal religion almost.
What do you guys think about right there?
How about we call it the Kaya-Dun Accords?
The
Half
Kaizen
desert.
Accords, I love it. And like this area, you respect all things. So you don't heal people unnaturally. You don't bring people back from the dead, and people are allowed to exist naturally in this area. Period.
Yeah.
And anyone can travel there as long as they follow these rules. So it's not really demilitarized. You know what I'm saying?
almost like
it's
a
like-
Mecca.
It's like a mecha of unity, of like actual unity.
Yeah. In Israel, where like everybody
Yeah.
learned their lesson and no one wants to piss each other off anymore.
Yeah.
So
Or
kind
like,
of like a great peace came out of it. Does that make sense? It's kind of
Yeah.
it's weird, but
It's gonna be great until that catastrophe just fucking destroys
Hey,
everything. But
yeah, the
I'm
meteor's gonna land right on.
peace. I'm taking a great peace as soon as it's offered because everything has been chaos and death and tragedy. So something went well for the world.
so next point of
Meteor
happen.
hits the
What
wall.
happens with the ritual of Magnatrix and the acid dragon?
All right, so my pitch is the acid dragon agrees to give the sword to Shinto, but he has to swear fealty to the woman in the castle. If he does that, he gets the sword. So that's the decision we have to make.
Oh.
Would he do that?
But then would he give that sword back to her? Yeah.
Did
would he
Shin-
give
was
the sword to
Shinto
Ren?
part of the original 7? That
No.
well, no, but did he know of it? I mean, like,
I'm sure their
Oh, yeah.
their whole culture knows of it. Yeah, it was a giant
okay.
thing with the horde.
Yeah.
and they only know that they've lost contact with the Chroma or
He knows it.
Scarned. Yeah.
Scar.
I think he takes the sword in exchange for the fealty, but then he immediately tries to get the sword to Rend.
Yeah, and tries to use that to usurp his fealty to Ren's fealty.
Now,
Yeah.
in the cast.
Now the Magnatrix thing, I think that Barack gets to see the Magnatrix thing happen before anybody else. So while he's down in his terminal where he's building his fortress and the insectoid dragons are trying to prevent it from happening, like it starts shifting and changing all around them, and Magnatrix like comes out of various portals back into the world, like various other dimensions.
So he comes back at the scar, or like whatever that scar leads to into the other spot.
Remember
Maybe back in the water.
we said
That's what
Magnatrix. We said Magnatrix was supposed to be a prison plane, right? So
Yeah.
the thing that Barack's in is kind of Magnatrix. So him in becoming a physical form again to go back and fight the acid dragon. I think Barack sees it. So now Barack knows that Magnatrix is the prison plane. Like he understands what it is.
Interesting.
He actually sees it happen, like him and his people.
Yeah.
And the
So
insectoid
actually,
dragon
that kind of pulls those events together. Barack's building the fortress.
Yeah.
Probably is part of what's making it harder for Magnatrix to come out. But then at the same time, the insectile dragon sabotaging the fortress
allows him to come out. Yeah.
allows him to come out. So
Now,
by
Zaz,
proxy of everything going on, go ahead, John.
I was gonna say Zaz. I mean, like in my mind, like let's say there was a prison break or something. The insectile locust folk that were originally made, that were hive mind, were actually made by somebody who had the intent to use them as a device to not only break onto the plane, but then once in the plane, be able to figure out what's needed to take the person out of the plane or whatever it is out. And so they were sent off to the other plane with that mission. And then that data came back here through the combination, but the original race has, you know what I mean? So I was thinking like at this place he'll find the key. The question is like, so
I'm saying he doesn't
open the portal.
He doesn't
Does he
find the
rush through
key.
it?
He doesn't find the key. What I'm saying is him and Barack now are the only
witness it.
characters who understand. Yeah. So the key you're talking about is that they now understand that this is a prison. This thing is a prison construct. This whole plane of existence.
You know, I was thinking that like Zaz already had that understanding. He didn't understand the context of why that was important, but he understood that part. So I was going to say is like when Magnatrix does Zaz take his opportunity to go through that portal so that he can get into a deeper stage?
I don't think you understand. Magnatrix doesn't come from a portal. Magnatrix is the portal. He is the plane. So now, what I'm saying is what the key he was looking for was understanding. So his key was knowledge. So now he is one of the only two characters who realizes what the whole thing is. Whereas like Crovexis and Ezris all think that they're doing shit when they're not. Remember we said that they're part of a giant
kind of a simulation.
Yes. So now Barack and Zaz realize it's a simulation, but they're the only two
because
Who knows?
they both see him leave.
They literally see him manifest, and they know what he was from all the stories before. So now they realize that he is this whole Magnatrix is this whole thing.
All right.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what?
like you
I
see
do-
him leave, but there's still a portal there when he
So
leaves.
I don't mean like a portal. I mean he just comes out of all the various portals that the Scar Elves know about because they can go inside and outside of them.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's like he's a combination of all the things that are imprisoned there.
I get what you're saying.
Because we said that he was the prison plane. That's
Yeah.
what we said like 4 ages ago.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I have
Everything's-
to ask, with Magnatrix coming back out, we have a couple of very large players that are locked up inside of him. With him suddenly surging back in a physical form, do you want to roll a small percentage chance that some of those past entities suddenly
Well, yes. As
out?
soon as John said prison break, I instantly got that in my head, like, oh shit, some of them can get back out. So Demon Bear can come back, Krovex can come back, Ezra's can come back.
Yeah,
all
because
these
technically
people that
they're still in
died-
prison. They're
Yeah,
still in
they're-
prison.
Yeah, they're in the prison. They're dead physically, but they're
It's
they're
kind of
there.
like the nothing. It's kind of like the nothing from Supernatural.
kind of
They're
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah,
they,
when they
I'm
come
down
back
to get back
here,
out.
they're
Yeah, they
in
come back to this.
simulation.
Like they come
It's
back to the.
simulation.
They come back to our prime material plane essentially.
And the prime material plane is just a trick on them.
Yeah, it's just a trick. So all they do is shift to another spot in the prison. So they went back into General Pop. That's I mean that's what it is.
So the question is, major players that we know about, Ezra's, percentage chance roll that Ezra's pops back out?
You just want to list them all one at a time now? Yeah, I guess we could do that. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the ones who have got Ascension probably have the best chance of getting out because they're a little more cognizant of what's happening to them, even though they don't.
So like
know.
Ezra's, Corvexes.
Ezra's
those guys.
Corvexes, the Ingrid who just got turned into one. All of them.
What about the Weave?
I mean, he died. So I'd say he's probably less of a chance. Kaisis maybe more because he
Okay.
came back twice. I don't know who else died. Like all the ones that just got killed or dead, I think they have a lower chance because to them
Yeah.
they think that they're dead.
I think
Yeah,
Kaisis
they haven't
actually
been
did
there
it
long.
3 times, I
The
think.
only ones I can think of are Ezra's, Corvexes, Jesus. Man,
I mean,
did we have any other?
the three that made up Magnatrix in the first place in the other story, the 3 of them would probably have a higher chance of getting back out too and separating. So that was what? That was the
Like Tide
Slad,
Lord?
Tide Lord, yeah, Ocean Master, the
Drax.
Slad,
Yeah,
And-
Ocean Master.
and all the people that were sacrificed. Remember all those Amazons? They could all come
Yeah.
back because they were all what made Magnatrix in the first place.
Okay,
So the Amazon race.
the list I have is Ezra's, Corvexes, Kazu's, Ocean Master, Trax, and the Amazons.
Man, they're gonna be
Who else?
confused motherfuckers.
That's I think that's about it.
Yeah.
We can't say Ren. We can't say Ren yet because Ren's still alive.
She's still here.
Ezra's, Demon Bear,
It
Scar.
makes me think back to our test game though, and remember we couldn't figure out what exact piece of knowledge you'll hit.
Hey,
Like,
how about Morpheus? Because
There you
he's
go.
actually
Yule.
been in the plane for a while.
Yule
You'll
is
already
one.
back, I thought.
He is, but he has no actions. He's just the well, so he would have a higher chance to come back
Temporis.
out too.
Temporis.
Temporis.
Oh, Temporis is the guy I had in mind for my prison. Like if Temporis made it on your list, I was going to have Zaz.
The other ones that we have from back then are Star Master, but he's not dead.
He's actually
He's
no.
inside of the
He's a
crash
cocoon.
island. The Lachey avatar went back to the Feywilds. Arion.
Malthius
Yeah.
would have a chance of coming out because he's
Malthus.
in one of the planes.
Technically, Zykiz, the pureblood macaw, is inside of Ezra's prison.
Yeah, I guess they'll have a chance to. I mean, if Ezra comes
Hey,
back
wait,
out, they're basically out anyway.
Is Ezra's prison? Where's Ezra's prison?
Ezra's prison is a construct within the simulation that Ezra's is in.
Yeah,
But he made his own prison inside of the prison.
yeah. Ezra's actually has Zykiz.
Inception.
What's the other avatar?
Go
He
4
has-
levels deep,
He has the meerkat avatar in his stone
Sure.
too.
just like Inception.
Sir.
He has
Sir.
Sir in his, and he had one other one in
I thought
his.
Sir got like annihilated.
No,
He did.
Sir is inside of
But Annihilation is still
inside of
being part of
Ezra's.
the
Yeah,
simulation.
never mind. Yeah,
He's inside of Ezra's.
I feel like this is a Marvel comic. Like nothing really dies.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like nothing's
Alright.
ever really died.
there is one more that we need to add to the list.
Oh Lord,
Chroma.
the Chroma.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I would say Alatune she's in the sword. So
She's-
she's
All
She's
right,
already
So
out.
that's what this chaos world is. So like this iteration of it is just one. The last chaos one was like what happens when it bubbles off chaos and then it comes back. It's just
dude, if a Chroma and Kuzis both get out, they're going to immediately go weave. Like, I missed you so much. Weave.
No, not a Morka, and not
Oh
We-
yeah.
Weave has a
Chroma,
chance too.
the original Lizard Folk guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you should get a
We
Morka.
said that the other half of Weave, I thought was dead.
No one's ever dead. They all have a
No
chance.
one's ever dead.
He just has less of a chance of coming out because he didn't hit. Well, no, he did hit Ascension before he died. Yeah, he would have the
Yep.
same chance as the rest of them.
Okay,
It's
so
Kuzis,
Morka.
yeah.
they're saying that as soon as they die, they go back into Manatrix to be
Yeah.
held.
Okay, so
Yeah.
We've got our list. What are you guys are going to be doing the rolling? But what
You want to handle rolling?
what
or
percentage chance does Ezra's have?
I say that's probably the
Cool.
most. What? Okay, he's the most powerful.
I say him, Crovexus, and the Weave counterparts have the highest chances. So, each.
So Ezra's 45%.
I think that the highest. Well, okay. So first off, I think any percent should be low, like the highest.
Like
percentage.
25%?
25, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
25%.
But I think that the highest should be the ones involved in Manatrix itself, right? Because that amalgamation has
Yes,
the most access.
yes, they should be the highest. Those three.
So the ones
So
that
let's
make that-
okay. So then let's
Ocean
say
Master.
Ezra's and Crovexus are all going to be 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Ezra's
then
is 20%. Crovexus, you said 20%.
20%.
How many-
Then Weave is 15.
Or is Weave coming out as separate parts or as the same? Like
Separate
as
parts.
Weave, or are they going to come out as
So
a Morka?
Kuzis and a Morka.
Separate parts. It's
Yeah,
only
you
an iteration of the simulation where the weave came together.
You said 25% on those two?
No, 15.
But cases, I don't know. I like 20 for cases. I don't know. That motherfucker
All right,
just keeps coming
20,
back.
20 for Kazus then.
He just keeps coming back. It's like he's power is built. You know,
A Chroma.
came back 3 times.
15.
15.
He even came back post weave.
And you said the things that make up so Ocean Master tracks the Amazons. What are we doing on them?
Yeah, 25.
25.
I'm hoping.
25 on all them.
All I'm thinking is how many are on the list? 5 or 6?
On this list right now, like 10 to 15?
Oh no, we're only taking a handful of these.
Alright.
One,
I want Demon Bear on there too. 10%.
I've got 10.
Okay.
Temporis.
See, now this
Temporis?
is interesting because Temporis, we're trying to say from the beginning, it was the beginning of all this shit in the first place.
Temporis is the prison. Is,
Like,
is
basically, the more I think about it, I think this whole thing might be Temporis's. Remember Temporis's contingency plan that would save all the races if something bad happened?
Mm-hmm.
I think that this whole thing might be that. Like, that's what this is. So he'd probably have a high chance of coming out too then.
Let's give
Yeah.
him a 30.
Yeah, I was going to say
30.
if he comes out, that's who I was going to have Sass to either report to or he.
Maltheus.
He's interesting too
15.
because he went to a whole other plane
Oh,
of
yeah.
existence and survived there somehow.
And you want
Let's give him a 20%.
I'll give him a 20.
Didn't Demon Bear blow himself up?
Yeah, Demon Bear.
Not blown
is-
up.
Yeah, he's like 10%.
He's got 10. I think Skarn's got 10 because he got blown up, and the Waka Plaka has a 10% chance too.
I
All
think.
three of them blew themselves. Nothing.
I think the relation of it, of their likelihood, is a relation of their balance or of power, but also of like the strength of the legend that currently exists. So that's why, like,
Oh,
So
we
10% on Demon Bear.
powerful.
Yeah.
Skarn.
10%.
Waka Plaka.
10%.
10.
And what about the master of the levers? Synth
Oh,
alien,
he's not dead.
He's not dead.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
in
dead.
space.
right? He
Yeah.
exists in all the metal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh Lord.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start rolling. Ezra's
Nope.
didn't make it. Crovexus
Oh, Crovexus. Nope.
didn't make it. Kazoos
Cassis the Black.
Nope.
didn't make it. Ocean
Highest
Master
roll. Nope.
didn't make it.
He's
Trax
on his dog duty.
No, God.
No one's gonna make it.
It's a perfect
Amazons.
planet. That's what I was about to say. If there's like a 1 in 5 chance and we're rolling like 10, it's like only 1 in 2.
Temporis.
Come on, Temporis, roll a 15. Yeah,
Boom.
there you go. Tells you.
He's in.
It's all about Temporis.
Made it.
That was the whole plan, right?
Malthus.
Temporis' dirty ass.
Oh,
In a
I bet
big
you it's
fat
all perfect form.
Acroma
nope.
didn't make it. Amorca
Ah,
what
hold on.
about
Oh, that was a D10. Hold on.
she's stuck in a sword. Never mind.
Morka. Nope.
didn't make it. Demon Bear
10% chance. Nope.
I only blew myself up once.
Karn
What was his percentage?
10.
10.
10? Okay.
Waka Plaka
Oh,
Man.
for the love of God, please no.
Temporis.
Thank God.
Hey, no, Waka Plaka could have worked. The only reason he was he was taken over by
Okay,
them.
so Temporis and Malthus come back.
All right.
We have to address that now.
Waka Plaka. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I really do believe that the person that's made for Temporis, it may be made by Temporis. I think that's what you were suggesting, Joey, as some mechanic to like create some kind of thing to prevent.
Yeah,
Some
Temporis was created by the Chronics to ensure the survivability of 3 races. So when he died, what I'm saying happened is he made Madritrix into a prison plane and created an infinite loop where things would never actually ever. He twisted into things will never die. So if you
Yeah.
die, you go to this other plane of existence and you continue to exist.
He did
Yep.
the Macaw folk, the Anthropomorphs, and which other race?
The Chronics.
Oh,
The
the
3 of them.
Chronics.
The pure Macaw folk and the Chronics return then.
Yep. Because the Anthropomorphs are already here. Now the question is, do they return to the spot that they died at, which would be on the bottom of the ocean, absorbed into the reef, with the rest of the metal? No. Or do they
No.
return to the place?
No, it's where he save stated them, so they
Yeah.
return to their ruined city.
That's under the water.
Yeah, that's where that reef is, right?
The pure Macaw folk, not the metal ones.
No, I'm talking about the
No,
Chronics.
no, we're talking about the Chronics.
The metal
No.
gnomes hit the Chronics with their entire like.
Oh yeah, this
Remember,
whole- on the ocean.
the Star Metal Island hit off the coast of that.
Oh, and create a tsunami that killed them.
That's
Okay,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, so they return here, and the Macaw folk return smack dab in the middle of the now.
Paradise Island. The
Forest.
Racktonians are like, who the fuck are these guys?
No, yeah, they appear right here, right? Where the slad was.
No,
right?
No,
Right
they
here.
were one over. Because they had the Amazons. Remember?
Yep. So Temporis's return, when
Are
he
there
comes
any
back, he immediately
metal-
puts out the save state and shunts the 2 save stated races back into existence.
Are the metal macaw still alive?
No, they
Well, they're at the
crashed
bottom of the water with the metal gnomes.
If
Bottom,
he's if we're calling it a
So,
save,
the
if we're calling it a
diseases-
save state, then the Animorphs have to come back here too. Then, so all the Animorphs that die, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
they all come back right back to where they were at.
Yeah, but the world, he only save stated the race, not the cities.
Yeah. So, but
So
they're
only
here.
2 of the save stated race came back. Since Demon Bear doesn't come back, the dead animal.
No, the dead Animorphs do because the race itself came back. Demon Bear, I believe, was created. Was he created before?
Yeah, he came through.
After.
Then if he was created before, then he would come back too.
I think he was.
No.
Well, what to go back and
It was
check.
after.
I think he was almost immediately after they showed up. Right?
I don't remember,
The
dude.
first thing that happened was the Proteus order, and then we played around with the throat. It wasn't until like the entire next age that Demon Bear
Yeah,
came
it was
out.
after the metal gnomes crashed back down to Earth and killed the Chronics. That's when Demon Bear came about.
Yes, you're right. So, yeah, so he doesn't
Demon
come
Bear
back.
would not return, but all the other things over here would.
Yep.
Oh Lord! All right,
Is that
We
the
get back
same
down to my-
too? The buildings, everything, or
And Temporis, Temporis
Right
is with.
We have 3
course.
different factions of the Anthropomorphs.
Yeah.
We have the original Anthropomorphs. We have the
So call them the true Anthropomorphs. The
well, actually, all those Shadar Wallace's
or
Anthropomorphs are dead.
Yeah, they're undead. Yeah, were they killed by the
Well, no,
light?
they're dead. They were vampires, and then they got smoked by the giant ball of light.
Okay.
did they get
If you're
smoked?
okay with that,
Well, they weren't by any moonlight, or were they by the Twilight Island? They were over here, right?
I thought she
Well,
encompassed the entire world in radiance. That's what I thought happened.
which makes sense for the meerkat having trouble.
I was saying she blasted light down on all these spots, and it just happened that the Dampier City is on one of these moonlight spots right here.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
if you want to make it like a flash to hit the whole world, I'm cool with that too.
I
My-
think it sounds
Yeah.
I
better.
thought it was a whole world, but I thought it was like a 70% of the twilight goes away. So like in the darkest of depths, it sounded like 30%.
Oh yeah, like underground. Yeah, but Shadar Wallace and all them were not underground. They were like actually in the Quaddle ruins.
Okay,
So-
I'm good with it. But that's what happens there. The other question I have to ask is what exactly does Malthius do now? Malthius is the one who created the original Disc of Judgment, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's the other one.
He's
that
going
came
to
back?
set up a base at the Disc of Judgment, Frank.
Wait, he's the one that came back, right?
Yep.
Okay, so at
He's
the
the
end
one
of
that came back.
life- No, didn't he do something? Okay, after he created the Disc of Judgment, didn't he like run away?
He started
Yeah.
fucking. He started fucking with the Shadow Realm, which started
He
driving
went
him
into
mad,
the Underdark, yeah.
and then he went into the Shadow Realm. So he's probably crazy when he comes back.
Yeah, he's crazy as shit.
He's also a shadow version because he absorbed power from the Dragon Heart of Shadow.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a shadow magic. Remember, we said it was like a mental thing. So he's
Yeah.
I don't know. He's still him, but he's just crazy with some kind of guess
Yeah.
psychic powers.
With a
Madness
fully functional Disc of Judgment.
with a full, yeah, but that is infused with a weird spores instead
Yep.
of
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, but
Okay.
how hard would it be for him to just use it on the sun? Like again.
Yeah, or would he even change it? I don't know. He's crazy now. So
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Hmm.
That was a lot of stuff just from that. Let's see, what else do we have going on here?
We have the war between the Darkscar elves and the Troglodytes.
Yeah, the Trog and Darkscar War.
Was there a full war?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sintil started a war with the Darkstar elves. And then and Barak had started to place a fortress next to the portal when all that was going on.
Yeah, yep.
yeah, I think
So-
the Dark Scar Elves might lose that just because all that shit happens down where they're building their fortress at, and I'm assuming that's where the war is happening at, right?
And I'm
Yeah.
assuming that like some kind of
Who-
infiltration was happening to the
Who do
point.
the Durgar side with? Do they side with Sinto or do they side with the Darkscar elves? To me, I think they would side with Sinto.
Yeah,
Eternal?
Sinto made them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably side with them.
So the Darkscar elf civilization is destroyed.
How about John saying the idea? Maybe they go deeper into the terminus, like into their terminal. Like they go deeper into the prison world, into this
Okay.
part of the prison world they found.
So they flee into the prison world.
Yeah,
I think
I like that idea.
yeah, I think the conclusion would be communication stops between the two people.
Yeah.
One group can't go too far down without like scouts or something, like without an order, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they flee into the prison world to escape from Sinto, but Sinto doesn't follow.
Okay.
and the Eternal, I don't know if they have a response to it because I think they're in their own little section.
They're pretty neutral about the whole thing.
Yeah, as long as nobody goes inside of them.
I think they're probably scrambling to repair whatever fucking happened with the prison break. Wasn't their
Cool.
job to like maintain the technology down there.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, they're probably going after the Darkscar elves, who have now fled into their world.
What if they're going after the escapees? Like they're going after Temporis and Malthius.
Oh, jeez.
What do you think? Like they have like a
I like it. Yeah, they
they
would
have like
do.
a special division of dwarves that like it's their job to hunt down
And they
like U.S. Marshals to hunt down escapees from Magnetrix.
How about the Eternals build the Inevitables?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's been that whole like idea of mechanists involved with this somehow. So that to me would make sense that they would start building Eternals to hunt them down.
And their soul and like all they do is hunt down things that escape from Magnetrix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens with the Magnetrix and the Acid Dragon, and what happens with Elune and Rend?
I think the Acid Dragon was part of the mechanism that started the ability for whatever first created the prison to have the power to do it. But the thing is that's why there were all those primordial dragons, all their power nation to cause whatever to happen. So since it's only one dragon versus the entity of Magnetrix, the prison itself almost.
See, I have a pitch for it. Okay, John. So you want a thing that started this whole thing to begin with, right? That sent the Locust to the other world, that brought the Locust here, that did all of these things. What if it's the lady in the castle, and she wants the dragon to fight Magnetrix to weaken him enough so she can leave that fucking castle that she's stuck in? Because
Magnetrix is the reason she's stuck in the castle.
The whole prison is to keep her in that fucking castle. This whole thing is to keep her in the castle.
So whatever she is.
So like
whatever
died, all of that is all still one part of a mechanism designed for keeping her, and not just in the castle, like in the simulation that is represented by the castle.
Yeah, in this plane, right? In this prime material plane.
Like she is sleeping somewhere in that prison plane. And she knows that. Like she knows that she's just a simulation right now. So.
And she's manifested as this lady in this castle. And the fight between the Acid Dragon, he's not strong enough to stop Magnetrix, but he weakens him just enough where she can leave the castle now.
I think we now have like a through line for the age creation myth to the point of whatever this husk will be once it's no longer a prison planet, if that even happens.
Okay, so does Elune give Rend back her power?
Before we touch on that, you said that does Magnetrix actually beat the Acid Dragon?
Yeah, I think he does. But I think the dragon wounds him.
Yeah.
I got that.
And the Ice Dragon finally wakes up.
Since it seems like the Acid Dragon waking up was like the first major crack in the prison's holding system, because it literally like almost immediately woke up and popped out of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that Magnetrix would just return the dragon to its resting point?
You know what? I kind of like that idea, dude.
I think that isn't in my mind the Black Dragon, the Frost Dragon, all these dragons, the Primordials were part of the gate, part of the lock mechanism, or part of like the power used to close the door in the first place.
I always like the idea of them sacrificing their bodies to be like the final part of the lock. Remember we had that idea? Like they each gave themselves to complete the lock.
So Magnetrix is going to put him back in the caldera, basically.
Yeah, back in the caldera. I like that idea. Yeah. Yeah, dude, he like puts him back in the caldera, and like his body solidifies, and the mountain becomes the actual mountain again. So it reforms this mountain.
The acid pool on top.
And the acid pool on top, and like the little at the top is a little pool of acid, like a little acid like it was originally before it exploded.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When we come back next time, I'm using my create avatar to create the child of Kazus. I want to make the tail.
That's that they all survived, John. We still have a lot of shit still going on. All right, so now we have to figure out, does Sento... So Sento does give the Sword of Alatun to Rend. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, with all the 7 Dragon souls plus
Well,
the
yeah.
soul of what's her
Dude, if it was the last panel of a comic book, Steve, after he stuffs the dragon back in the mountain and it starts to reform, he like turns, looks over his shoulder, Magatrix does, and he looks up to the sun, to the third sun. Like
Mhm.
that far off,
Uh-oh.
you're like, oh, you're next, motherfucker.
the
You're
magma.
going back. Yeah. Hey, he gives him that look like you're next, dude.
No wonder I'm losing power. You fuck. What are you doing?
I'm here to
Yeah.
set shit straight.
Definitely. I do like that. I think Sento would definitely give back the sword because in his mind, like I know that the troglodytes are an offshoot from the original lizard folk.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's an old god to them, dude. For sure, you're right. Like she would have reverence.
Yeah.
Super reverence.
She's like the first one. She's the first one who ascended. She's the very first, like from this world.
So now, what does that do with Rind, who now has 7 of her swordsman's souls and their energy, and Alatun, Akroma's daughter?
I think that
What does she do with the sword?
I don't think that she can control the power in the sword. I think she's going to have to convince Alatun to give it back to her. So she's going to have to use all of her gamesmanship and all the shit she's done for centuries, thousands of years, and she's going to have to try to convince her mortal enemy to give her back her power.
I think that. Go ahead.
I was saying, can this be a stasis situation? Like they're embittered and locked inside of this sword, having this conversation, this power of will the entire time.
Oh, yeah, like I don't think this is something that was resolved in this age. I think it'll be
I
next age.
don't think that it resolves right now. I think that as long as she has the sword, she retains her immortal status.
What if
Yeah.
Sento?
She has to,
What if she tells Sento that she's dying, and the only way that she has a chance now is if he slays her with the sword? So she goes into the sword with Alatun, right? Like I like this idea of them being in there together.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
But now her mortal form is gone, so she exists inside the sword. But when Sento does this, he doesn't realize that now he's cursed to stay in that fucking prison because now he's in possession. He's basically in possession of Rind, so he can't leave now.
Oh, yeah.
He can't just leave the sword there. So he's stuck in the halls of Geisig with the sword.
Sento becomes the keeper of the guys.
Keeper of the keeper of the game.
I have a question. Okay. So I like that. I didn't even think about but what if instead of it's a trick, like Sento knowingly becomes like the guardian for no, I will
Oh, yeah.
allow
Like
your soul to go into the sword so you can get your power back and have that fight, and I'll be the one here guarding the sword
Until you
and
come
I know
back.
yeah, I like that.
Until you come back.
almost
Yeah,
like
Yeah, because Sento's been so straightforward the whole time. Sento has not
But
been a
how
very
about this?
deceiving individual.
How about for the first time in a long time, she is completely honest with him and tells him what's going to happen to him if he does this. So she gives him
Yeah.
Ren gives him Ren like becomes honest with one person ever, him, and tells him because like he's her savior, right? Like
Yeah,
how do you
and
want to think
he
about it? He was
Yeah.
to bring the sword, right? He had no extra motivation. She
No.
had no power. She had no leverage.
none, yeah.
And so he the Last Crusade, like he's sitting there, like
Yes,
Correct.
like exactly, like holding the sword, sitting in the throne sitting on Ren's throne, just holding the sword, dude, waiting for something to happen, waiting for that to resolve itself.
Yep. And because he has a sword, he's immortal now, so he can wait forever.
And now he's like, now he's ascended. Now he's reached his final ascension. So now he's Sento, guardian of the sword.
I was going to say Sento, guardian of the Geisig.
Guardian of the Geisig. Okay.
the sword now is the Geisig only
The
because
Geisig.
Throughout years and all of that, it's been so loose now that it's just the game, the sword.
So
Yeah,
if
I do have. Go ahead.
If it was a module, like the entire Halls of Geisig would be a giant like Tomb of Horrors because it's designed by the oldest trap master in the entire world.
Mhm.
So like the entire place is booby trapped to hell if you try to get in and get the sword. You
Mhm.
can make a whole dungeon based on it.
With
Oh, yeah.
kobolds, metal kobold.
With robotic kobolds,
Yeah.
radioactive kobolds.
Now, before all that happens, Ren did make 7 weird eggs. I don't know if they're going to create creatures or they're artifacts, but she imbued essentially the essence of a sin into each one of the eggs and then cast them onto the world.
What if it's
What's
an
happening
essence?
with those?
Yeah, what if the sins aren't like biblical sins? It's the 7 betrayals that she wrought to get herself into the halls of Isaac. So it's
Sure.
like 7 specific things that she did across her life that she regrets.
And it becomes like the trials of Hercules kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they're not physical things, like John's saying. Maybe they're trials or maybe they're adventures or quests that she sent down to the world. So you never end up like her, maybe? Does that make sense? I like the idea of trials, man.
Like the idea that she's trying to basically atone
Make
for all
a-
of her sin.
Make amends, yeah, for what she did.
Yeah.
We're going to definitely have to flesh that out at some point, but I love that idea.
All right. So
But
what
still,
do I need to put here right
she
now for
said-
the resolution right here?
She sent 7
As
trials
far
to
as
the
my
world.
Yeah, she sent 7 trials to the world.
And once all 7 trials have been completed, something happens.
Something related to the Geisig, maybe related to her, maybe related to.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the Geisig. I think it has to do with just Ren particularly.
Maybe it's like a samurai thing, dude. Like people who start these quests for these trials think that it's for like personal power, but really it's just like philosophy. It's like to understand what it means to be good or to be like a god, to be a real god, like something that protects things or protects the world, not selfish.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had an idea for, and I know this is more like, but so you said you got the dragon eggs, but they pulled the essence from the magma dragon son, right?
No, she pulled
From
the
herself.
last of her own essence.
Last of her own essence.
The thing that was keeping her ageless before she did it, she channeled that into each one of the eggs.
Those were her own eggs.
Wait, it
No,
also-
they were the eggs of lunar dragons.
It
Okay.
also tracks with her anyway because she was always about giving her power. See, that's the thing. She started off like very benevolent. If we remember how we first made her, she was
Yeah.
giving power to everybody and sharing. And
Yeah.
then at some point she realized that people didn't deserve it and she took it all back. And that's when she became very controlling.
Callous.
Yeah. What I was
Very
gonna say,
megalomaniacal.
what if she found a way to tap into that god power of the sun, but she couldn't use it herself? But she found a system that she felt with all of her years, the gaming, the Geisig, her being in power in the beginning, and said if somebody passes these 7 trials, they'd be able to tap into an avatar level power.
I
Like,
think
they-
we should flesh this out later because we should still knock out the catastrophes because it's already 3.5 hours.
Yeah, we're
So-
going for an endurance run.
That's
Y'all
Real-
will make sure that I'm tired tomorrow while I
Can
go to work.
can
I know. That's what I'm thinking, Steve.
I pitch something real quick, Steve? Instead of
What?
them being eggs, what if she took out parts of herself and that's what she cast down? So what if when he got to her, she was so weak because she wasn't all there anymore? Like maybe she cast down like her kidney or her heart, like things about her body that represented the mistakes she made. That's what she cast down.
I like that idea better,
But
actually.
she was like when he got to her up there, she's like in pieces almost. You get what I'm saying, dude? That's how weak she is. She's like a piece of what she was before. So when he kills her, it's also kind of like a mercy.
Yeah.
It's a mercy kill.
Right. So maybe it's her heart. I don't know. We can come up with organs or maybe parts, maybe part of her scale or something. Things that people can tangibly find.